Bam, 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 bam.
And that is the end of the Open, according to Jake.
It's
in his
pretty close,
mouth.
right?
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've heard the Open.
It has been a minute.
Remember the Open?
I do remember the Open. Do you remember?
No, I'm talking about this weekend, the golf.
Oh, okay, the fifth major.
The Open.
For sure, yeah. People were mad that one of the golfers had his hat on backwards. That's apparently like a golf thing right now.
What, being mad?
That would be a golf thing at all times. Do you remember when we went to Jordan's place? And I don't know. It's funny just to think about like how many different things you and I have talked through, like for
Jake,
7,000 hours. That it's like ultimately we probably could have done that in 7 minutes.
Oh, yeah. We've been through a lot.
We're out there listening to 25 different versions of the Open, like we're Rick Rubin. We're like, all right, maybe turn the keys down a little bit on this part. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, this
What
is
are you doing?
what we'll call, and it's weird because we've already done some recordings, but we'll call this episode 1.
Yeah.
So you can disregard our future. So what we did, we want to do some content today, I think.
Yes.
Your old friends that you may remember from way back in the day are on the air. We got things to say. We want to talk. Commercial free, we should tell you. We also should tell you a couple of things. One is that we are going to... So we don't know exactly what we're going to do. But we do have a lot of options. There are a lot of different ways that this might end up going. So I don't know where it's going to be in the months and years to come.
Yeah.
But there are different options, different opportunities. A lot of people are reaching out that we hadn't heard from before, so that's cool. So, again, there are some options opening up, and we don't know where we're going to take it. We're going to start with this. And this is us talking. Pretty rudimentary. I think that's a word.
No, you
that
did
means
well
kind of
there.
like
That's
scaled down. It's very
very
bare bones. But hey, if you're listening to this, what a treat for you to be able to say, "Hey, I heard that first one when you didn't have like a news theme, and your open was Jake just making a. Oh, we do have a news theme. Okay."
Yet again, another thing that we've spent and probably will continue to spend a lot of time on
that doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all.
No, we just listened to 20 different news things. No. That one's a little. No. That's too breaking newsy.
Like, who do we think we are?
Picasso.
Yeah.
We are Picasso. We are Mozart painting.
Who saw Joe Montana play?
Well, he definitely saw The Godfather.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
But he
Bart
could have
Starr.
seen Joe Montana in
Bart
high school.
Starr.
Yeah. For sure. There's no
he
doubt.
was a huge Bart Starr guy. But yeah, no, I think the way you put it is right. We don't know where it's going to end up. We don't know how it's going to look, how it's going to sound, but we just want to do something today.
So I think though what we are going behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Not this one. And not so this is our initial plan. 1 a week. 1 free, then you get 3.
Okay.
Do you like that?
I
don't
do
we want
like
to do
that.
it?
Yeah.
I think we like to broadcast every day. We are very cocky. We think people want to hear what we have to say, or we just have stuff to say and we want to say it anyway. So,
well, as an aside,
I think
real
we're
quick,
going to
I would just say
we might want to do 5 shows, but at least 3 behind the paywall per week.
I also don't think there's anything else that we're good at. And it's questionable whether we're good at this.
Yeah, I don't know that we don't know how to do anything else.
That's the
As
thing.
is being evident by we're learning about, hey, there's business stuff to do and anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that's our initial plan is 1 free we drop and then 3 behind the paywall, and you just witnessed live the churning inside my brain of 1 free and then you get 3. And so our initial thought is we're going to go behind a paywall. And some people are $5 a month for one podcast a week, right?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the most common setup, yeah.
So we're going to give you multiple behind a paywall. And we're going to start with $6.90. 6.9, and then if you want the full year, so what's 690 times 12? Get your calculator out now.
No, I can do this.
No, you can't.
So 7 times 12 is 140, right?
I don't
No,
know.
184. So I don't have to reduce.
If
Yeah,
you got
you're
your calculator, it'd be a lot quicker.
I'm not going to do it.
So it would be over. My point is, we were thinking of going with a $69 for the full year.
You're getting a small discount.
A significant savings.
Yeah, that's right, folks.
I think I said it better because that gets you more juiced up. A significant saving. Now, let's say the whole month is $6.90, and you end up getting, what, 3, 6, 9, 12 even perhaps behind a paywall.
There are 4.3 weeks in every month on average.
I'm just saying, we're talking less than 50 cents per show.
Come on. Come on, people.
2 quarters, Jake. That's an eighth of a cup of coffee. I don't know.
Man.
Anyway, that's what
Doesn't it feel like there was like a 2-decade run of comparing a cost to a cup of coffee? You
Yeah.
don't hear it quite as much anymore.
because coffee is quite outlandish in the prices.
It was the same era of 4 out of 5 dentists.
We're definitely going to talk a
Who's
little
that other
bit.
guy?
I think every show, at least early on, we should do some kind of ticket talk. But here's the thing: behind that paywall, this is what we. So we actually didn't totally expect to be here, as things were heading in the direction they are. Then we started thinking, "Oh my gosh, we might not come to a resolution with the former company we worked for. So we should get our thoughts on tape. Like, if I thought it was going to get here, I would have recorded 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But we just started. So last week, when it first started seeming like, hey, man, we might not be at the ticket anymore, let's record something. Perhaps people would be interested in very emotional Dan and Jake. And so we did. We recorded that. And then, as things... that wasn't emotional, because the next week happened, and then things really heated up, and that got very, very emotional. And then we recorded one of those the Friday. Did we record Friday?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Friday when I think people felt more closure on it, because the Musers and the Hardline did segments saying these guys are gone. And we said, let's record stuff now because it's actually real. And I don't remember what we said at all, but I do know that's a full hour talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe about my new lottery bit, which I'm going to fill you in on in a second. But those are 2 hours that are in the can, and we will be releasing those soon, somewhere in the next, couple of weeks. But we got other stuff to talk about first.
We do. So I don't know how much more ticket talk you would like to do here. I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
with it a little bit.
I actually wanted to do ticket talk in a general sense, in the sense where the ticket fits in the media landscape in Dallas, because right now we can do some things we've never been able to do. Now, they could be saying naughty words. That's the lowest hanging of the fruit that we're able to do. But also, I think it's very weird that a radio station called The Freak has changed their lineup about the same time that all this is going down. And I've always been fascinated by, obviously we talk, media all the time, but I've been fascinated by the local media scene. And so we can talk about that. I don't know if we have opinions or anything, but it's, The Freak changed their lineup. The Freak is obviously something most P1s know about, just because it's a lot of our friends worked there. Guys who were actually on the ticket worked
Sure.
there. And even the guys who aren't on the ticket. Well, I guess Ben and Skin used to be 20 years ago. But like we know Kavanaugh. We know. Wait, is Kavanaugh the only guy over there that hasn't been on the ticket?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have maybe some bit players that I'm not super familiar with, but if you're
Board
talking
Oppie.
hosts,
Yeah, host.
yeah, I guess so. Well, I mean, yeah, because Christina was like in production, but she was there, you know.
Yeah, Ben and Skin were 20 years ago weekend guys on the ticket.
Yeah.
Of course, Mike Reiner started the ticket.
The first time I was actually ever on the air at the ticket was with them.
Who? Ben and Skin?
Well, actually, you know what? That's not true. The first time I was ever on the air after I came back from college. So I interned for 2 years, and then I came back in, and I got on the air with them because I kind of knew Skin from, like, he taught me how to make beats. Stupid thing I used to do. That's where
we use Skin beats in our
of course,
the Bad Radio Open for many years.
many people still do actually for live spots. I got on the air with them to tell the Sex for Point story the first time, but it was, as you are well aware, things that happened during dry dock sometimes just much like "Why, lady," no one really heard it. But I did go up to the station after I had interned for 2 years. I went back up there and told them that story. And, yeah. So, yeah, we know him.
Anyway, the news, in the sense that the news shocked people, our news, of that we're no longer at the ticket, I was kind of shocked by the Freak doing a bunch of lineup changes. So I just find it very interesting, at least, that these are all happening at the same time.
I was, but I'll tell you, I honestly believe this. I think I said this in a couple of different of those ticket stock AMA things. I don't know if it's like having kids or just like how you progress in life. I just don't think that much about anything that's not what you and I are doing that much anymore. It's kind of why I stopped using Twitter as much.
The Don Draper meme?
Which one?
He's in the elevator talking to a guy. He's like,
I don't think about you at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then, yeah, that one.
I'm interested in the media landscape.
For sure. No, I mean, we talk about McAfee. We talk about, like, what's happening with ESPN layoffs and Disney and et cetera. But, I don't know, people will hammer you with, like, what do you think about this? And you're like, I just don't really that much. And maybe I should. Maybe it would make me a better member of the industry to be more concerned about this and that. But, I don't know, man. I just got to a point where I just felt like my day was, I got all this dumb kid shit I got to do, and then I want to do the show. And outside of that, I wasn't really doing too much else thinking about the world. Like, I literally stopped, like, caring about politics, you know?
Yeah.
Like, stuff that I used to be really fired up and charged up about. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Just do whatever you're doing over there.
Well, I'm very interested in all forms of media right now. I'm very interested in how do people monetize YouTube shows?
Well,
how do people?
I think we're about to learn.
I'm really interested in. So, is 44,000 views for one video? Is that good? To me, it feels good. And then you go look at Dude Perfect, and they would
take that down.
Be bankrupt. Yeah,
they would be very disappointed. Yeah,
but maybe we could say, whatever our original thing we do, it's like Dude Perfect when they were in their backyard in College Station or in Bryan or wherever.
I wish you wouldn't.
Oh, why? Because that raises the bar a little too high?
Well, no, I
like
just
you
wish,
just want to survive?
I wish that I would not in any way have a lasting memory of you comparing this situation to what Cody, Kobe, Tyler, Taylor, Tatum.
Well, don't you always play the which one are you?
No,
with your
I don't.
Friends?
I don't.
I mean, we used to do that with Friends, the TV show, and now it's...
No, I never did that either.
Now it's,
I didn't do that
Which
either.
Dude Perfect member are you?
I never did any of that. That sounds terrible, actually.
I've always thought you're like a
up.
Tyler. You're more Tyler.
I don't even know which one that is. I don't want to know. Easter baskets. Just don't want to do it. It is kind of funny. I don't know if your wife has done this to you. We might have mentioned this in one of the two that we have in the can, but my wife is super supportive. But she's kind of trying to thread the needle between I know that this is a really big deal to you, and also you're not a big deal.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like she kind of occasionally will give me the reminder of like, you host a radio show.
yeah.
You write a small article 3 times a month. Like that is the extent of your existence. So let's chill out over here. I'm thinking you're Brad Pitt or something. But they want to be supportive and say, hey, I understand this is like, it's a big deal in your life, but also like, come change this diaper.
Okay, well, I have two girls in my family that certainly remind me I'm not a big deal.
Sure.
Over and over, my teenage daughters. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't talk to my wife about the station, and she never listened and all that kind of stuff. So I think she's now thinking that I am a bigger deal than she thought. Because people are... We were walking out in the neighborhood this week, and we live in an older neighborhood. There's a lot of people who have lived here for 30 years. And so one of our 70-some-year-old neighbors was walking by, and she's like, "Oh, been reading about you." I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
What are you reading?" And that was the first...
How do your old eyes even still work?
No, that was the first person, because I'm upset that you said somebody, like, you haven't gone out at all, but somebody, saw you at a restaurant and brought it up, and you...
They cried.
And when you told me that, I was thinking, no one has really said anything to me, and I'm going out every day. I'm going to the grocery store. I'm going to the gym. And so I've taken to I have a ticket jersey with my name on the back from an old great game, and I've been wearing that around.
Yeah.
And, running up and down the aisles, just kind of looking for somebody to say, hey, we miss your show, and nobody has. So
Your Big Mac jersey.
yeah, but that's probably more ticket talk than you wanted to do even.
It was kind of funny, too, last night. We were sitting on the couch. You caught up on Gemstones? Dude.
I'm 4 in, so I don't know what
Okay.
caught up means. I don't know how many there have been.
I think 7 now.
Okay.
And it came out of the gate, I felt a little slow.
My wife's really into it. Steve Zahn is her
of
favorite.
course, I knew. Yeah. I felt like the first 4 or 5 episodes had a lot of same show-itis, which is probably anything that Danny McBride does.
I just saw the one where Keith gets ousted from the youth group.
Dude, the last 2 episodes are the best 2 episodes they've ever done.
Okay, that's
They're
very exciting.
so good, and there's a lot of Steve Zahn. So if your wife isn't quite done yet when she gets in off the riding lawnmower, those 2 episodes will be quite nice for her. But we were sitting on the couch watching it, and I guess I had my socks off. And my wife was like, can you believe that at your job you got a tattoo on the bottom of your foot for a rapper that no one even remembers? And it's just going to be there forever. I don't know. That's just a weird thing to consider that I actually...
She's never done that at her job.
No, I don't think so. I don't think at most jobs. The Dallas Zoo has welcomed a new clip springer to its family.
Is this news? I thought we wanted to do like a news segment.
No, I just know you love the animal news.
Oh, okay. You're just trying to
To
anger me
yeah.
because you know I'll get heated.
Yeah. So, anyways, what do you want to start with?
I know we always ended with some kind of a, the WTDS and Today in History stuff.
Love it.
I was
What a
wondering.
unique bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not. It's something that a lot of people were saying. Oh, is he's still preparing that for Corby? Yeah, I was,
Of course.
and I again, I think we can all live in the same universe and be cool. So for now, I think everybody's cool with us, and I don't see why they would ever not be. I mean, it's a weird atmosphere with the ticket when you leave. It's like, hey, you're not in the bunker anymore. But yes, I continue to keep my thing updated only because I think it does give us content sometimes. And I found this note from A Day in History. I thought it was interesting, and you might as well. In 1983 on this day, An Air Canada Boeing 767 ran out of fuel while flying from Montreal to Edmonton. They did get a safe emergency landing in Manitoba. No movie about them.
Yeah,
Like
no,
Sully
yeah.
got. And the reason for this problem was they measured the fuel in pounds instead of kilograms when Canada was converting to the
That's
metric
awesome.
system. And I think about this because I grew up in the 80s
Mm-hmm.
and was a little kid in the 70s. But I don't remember when it was. If it was the late 70s or the 80s. But when I was in school, Jake, when I was a boy, they taught us the metric system and said, you're going to be the first generation that really uses this. We're teaching you because we're all going to be switching to this very soon because it is the logical. It just makes way too much sense.
It's based on zeros and ones. And
we used to keep time with rocks and shadows on the wall. Now we have developed a system which actually accurately measures going around the sun, so much so that we shave 2 seconds off of that every 4 years, or whatever the case is, right?
That sounds right, yeah.
You know how they shave a couple seconds
Yeah.
in the world clock. Anyway, it's obviously the leap year corrects everything once every 4 years. The point is, and then I don't know what happened to that. Because it still, to me, seems very logical. I guess I'm glad they didn't change it. But is it our...
ethnocentric, like, nationalist thing?
Yeah, is that something that
That's what I've always assumed.
propped up a lot in the 80s with, I'm not
Yeah.
like them.
Yeah.
We're us. And it seems a backwards way to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I think I've told you this. I hate saying, like, oh, that's just this country, because I think a lot of countries do the same stuff, right, of not taking good ideas from other places. I don't think that's, like, a uniquely American thing. Does that make, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people do the same thing that we are always like, oh, it's just America. We
So
don't-
in Germany, they're resistant to something that those Frenchmen
Exactly.
started? Okay.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot. But it is very, very annoying. And, also funny that that's how a plane got crashed.
I printed this off. This is from yesterday, actually, but who cares, right? Because who knows when you're listening to this. This is, we're taping on a Monday, but we were supposed to do it Sunday, and we got...
Taping.
What are we doing? Recording.
No, I like you saying taping.
Live on tape. Like the Larry Sanders Show. I didn't ever really know about this. You know about what's the most famous movie theater shooting?
So the first one obviously that comes to mind is Aurora, but that can't be right if you're
No. That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
So what do you think the most famous movie theater shooting is?
Aurora.
And it was The Dark Knight, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that feels like a movie that should have a shooting in it.
Yeah, well, especially when the guy who comes in with the gun is, at least initially in media reports, thought to be dressed as the Joker.
On this day in 2015, a gunman opened fire in a Louisiana... Do you know this?
I know it. It's the Amy Schumer movie.
Yeah, Trainwreck.
LeBron.
The LeBron movie.
Yeah.
Killed 2, wounded 9, and then shot himself. That just didn't check out to me.
No, not at all.
Like the whole Dark Knight, okay.
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
Well, it checks out unless you've ever tried to watch Amy Schumer be funny, and then you're like, I'm
Whoa.
gonna kill someone.
And then a shout out, don't know if he's listening, to a good friend. Scott Chandler's birthday was yesterday. He's 38.
Look at that.
Former Cowboy.
Yeah.
I do remember him, was it Monday Night Football, when didn't he score a touchdown against the Cowboys and then kissed his Cowboy cheerleader girlfriend, who's probably now his wife? Or am I thinking of a different Buffalo?
I think you're thinking of the
Bills?
Buffalo Bill receiver.
Well, he was on the Bills.
I know, but I don't. So here's the thing. I'll blow your mind here. That guy we had in studio.
The not Scott Chandler Buffalo Bill?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had, let's look at this. We can look this up.
Scott Chandler, of course, from Southlake. And his brother Nathan. Does Nathan still live here?
Nathan does.
Yeah.
I was.
I know you've been to Nathan's house.
Yeah. His name was David Nelson.
That makes sense. Okay,
yeah.
you're
And we
right.
actually had that guy in studio.
No, I remember now. Yeah.
He had some, like, I don't know,
Energy,
vague, like outreach type thing.
charity,
Yeah.
some bullshit.
Some old
And then-
bullshit.
I did want to mention this, and I thought this would have cheered you up a little bit yesterday. You seemed a little down. Yesterday, the 50th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sitting down?
Hold on.
Of
Yes.
Monica Lewinsky.
Oh, man.
And man, she's getting better every year.
Every year, dude. Every single year.
And again, let's talk about
She's like
this
the
now.
real, like,
Talk
her,
about the Monica bit.
her and Julia Louis-Dreyfus have had, like, two of the best 2-decade upward trajectory runs of anyone in the history of American culture.
I used to think that about Hillary, and then she kind of fell. Like, if you look at it's like 70s Hillary and then 80s Hillary, she got way better. And then she did turn into a grandma all of a sudden. It happens.
Yeah, but see, I think I somewhat disagree with you because when I see pictures of 70s Hillary, I'm still kind of like,
You're stoked?
yeah. I'm still kind of into it. But you're right.
Well, you know Bill ain't slumming.
Yeah, but he also wasn't having sex with her.
Yeah, but she well, in the 70s he probably was. That's when they were
A
saving
few
trees
times,
and
yeah,
all that
that's
stuff.
true, yeah.
She looked very hippie.
Have you ever heard my thought on their current love life?
There's no way there is any.
Once a year, Christmas Eve.
Okay, that might be more than me.
I think they have sex one time a year. And it's like on schedule. Which probably makes it awesome.
Is there a Secret Service guy outside the door
It's just a gun trained on Hillary's head.
to make her?
Not
No,
to-
the Monica
not
Lewinsky.
to make her.
So if you're dating Monica,
Yeah.
you know like what she'll do.
Yeah.
And then let's say you start to kind of get hot and heavy and some heavy petting, whatever you want to say, and you're making out. And
Well, I
grabbing
can
her-
tell you what I won't say is heavy petting.
well, you know, I'm trying to describe you're on the couch,
Fucking
you're
health class video.
you're grabbing some boob, it's just and then like that's how the evening ends, just with a lot of making out. And you're like,
Yeah. You walk out and you're like, well, I guess I'm not the president.
gosh, man, but you know, like, because some girls don't do that. They're called, girls you don't go out with anymore. I guess I don't know,
Ex-girlfriend.
but it is a thing. Some guys don't want to go down there.
I never, yeah.
Well, no guys want to go down. Let's just
I don't know.
really.
I will tell you that I always thought it was weird. The first time I was aware that was, like a thing was The Sopranos with Uncle Junior. I never knew that there was like some sort of a perception that that's something you either should be against or don't want to do. I'll tell you what, bud. I'll do anything and everything all the time to anyone.
Okay.
Because you only get one life, man. I'm going to be grossed out by this or that, but I didn't know that was like viewed as like less than masculine until Uncle Junior had to hide it. It's still a very weird angle to me. So, no, but to your point though, I think with Monica, is it like she feels as if she's probably going to withhold that because she knows you're expecting it.
Yeah, and then what if it's not good?
It might not be.
It'll be good.
It was just famous. It probably, no matter what, it was just, Dude, the president. See, I've told you this before.
You're like, wait, I don't like you in that red dress.
That was my.
Can you get this?
You got anything in the closet? That was my teenage years. Like, so imagine me at like 13, 14, 15 years old as people are trying to tell me, how morality works and I'm going to church camp. And meanwhile, the president is on television having to admit that he received a blowjob from a junior employee. I'm like, I feel like
Did you
that's
come
actually
right
how
then? Did you,
immediately, yeah. I'm like, I feel like that's actually how the world works because that guy's the president.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there's other stuff you're trying to convince me of. Feels like that's not how the world exactly works.
Now, is that a simpler time in the world of politics when we were just worried about that?
I don't know if it's a simpler time, but it was definitely, it felt like an inflection point. Like that's where things changed a little bit. But I don't know. I'm not a historian, Dan.
No.
Speaking of Why Today Doesn't Suck extra and history stuff, it's kind of like the other day you mentioned something to me that's a very famous media moment in history. Like, do you ever hear about this? I was like, yeah, dude.
Do I have to bring it up? The Kennedy?
Yeah, the Kennedy Nixon debates, the radio video thing. You're like, I don't know if you went over this in school. I'm like, I went to school for like 10 years.
That's what, yeah. I was talking about how the video that we did, some were saying you look very uncomfortable and
My wife
whatever.
said that too.
Yeah, and others I think were correctly pointing out, hey, that's not their medium, and they're sitting in a, and I hate sitting in those tall chairs no matter where I am.
It's
Tall metal chair in the middle of a room, and
yeah.
there's lights on and 3 cameras, and yeah, that's... Anyway.
No, but so I was going to say, my wife did something similar to me the other day when she's like, I think it was probably she was watching Aerial America. That's a show that I've tried to get you into before.
I have watched it, yeah.
It's hard to watch now.
You ever see
'cause Conrad's on there.
the porn version?
Areola America. Awesome. No, but she was like, hey, have you ever heard of the Donner Party? And I was like, Jesus, I mean, do any of you know what the hell I do for a living? Like,
remind me what that is. I've
it's
definitely
the
heard
people
of it.
who ate each other in the mountains.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, but it's every year on Why Today Doesn't Suck at some point. It comes up, and sometimes more than once.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no, I know.
So you were a political science and a communications major, and I asked you, have you heard of the Nixon-Kennedy debates, which really was a huge moment for the history of television versus radio, because if you listen to it on the radio, 80% of the people said Nixon won. And if you watched it on TV, 80% of the people said Kennedy won.
Yeah.
And it changed politics forever.
Yeah, Kennedy was sweating.
No,
excuse me, Nixon was sweating. Kennedy's a good-looking guy, etc. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just, I found it insulting that she was asking me if I've ever heard of the Donner Party. It's like, yeah, no, like multiple times a year.
There could also be some correction there where your conservatives were more likely, hardcore, like, I'm not changing. The libs, the dirty libs had these newfangled TVs. I never thought about that angle.
Yeah, okay.
There would be more,
that makes sense.
Your older people would be more likely to just still be listening to the radio. I'm going to listen to the radio for the rest of my life.
And you see here.
I wasn't thinking that when I was in college and they were teaching me that.
The boy is urinating on the FM.
No, AM is coming back.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll buy an AM signal. Oh! You want to call this? You want to go into the news?
Let's do some news.
News.
I
was thinking about doing breaks.
Yeah. At some point, we probably will.
Like need a pauser?
Yeah. Vape.
So I have, and
I guess I can vape right now, though, actually.
We can't use stuff that we ever used on the ticket because we don't own it. That's a thing to note. So I was looking for stuff I do own, and I have a folder of things I've done on radio, different stops.
Air Force One,
but back when I was a little kid, I used to record stuff. So I have some of that. I have me calling radio stations. I have when I worked in Dayton. I have when I worked in Youngstown. So there could be something in there to play as like a little interlude. And I found this, which I thought was funny. So apparently this must have been when I was in Zanesville, Ohio, or somewhere. I worked for the morning show, and I told you the morning show, the reason we came up with Air Farce One, the fake prep service, was we would get a feed from whatever we subscribed to, and they would send us either funny audio or stories or
Quote,
whatever.
unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Songs, parody songs, and play this on your morning show. And this was one of the things they sent us one
Oh, yes.
one morning.
April 13th, 1994. Your usual host, Dia, is out sick again, and we're bringing you a best of comedian Jackie Martling, whose jokes fly about a mile a minute. Here's Jackie for you. Dia should be back tomorrow with more of your regular morning show audio.
You know what Tanya Harding's beeper number is? Pound star. You know Joey Buttafuoco's favorite dish? Chicken statutory. You hear about the Chinese couple that had a black baby?
Uh-oh.
Do you feel like we shouldn't play
I
these
feel
anymore?
Well, I was with you up until that one. And now I think we probably review.
Well, it's actually it's an
go.
old favorite.
Chinese couple had a black baby. They named him Something Wong.
Okay. Yeah. I wish you wouldn't have done that one.
It was on a San Francisco news station.
It was. It was. I was just thinking about this. I don't really have any stuff from whenever I was a little kid of radio stuff, but do you remember the one time I told you that my mom has a video of me singing Harry Connick's That's the Recipe for Love wearing a little blazer?
Because you were a little showman.
Yeah. Maybe now's the time for that. Just give the people what they want.
Does anyone want that?
You asked for it at the time. You were like, please put that out there.
Okay. All right, then I want it.
Okay.
You have to remind me what I want.
So, boy, it's hot out there, Dan.
News. Dun,
Four people-
Dun, 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 dun. There you go.
4 people in Tarrant County have died from heat-related death in this month alone.
We've been so inside and locked on the phone and everything.
Yeah.
I haven't really known about this, but I've had people tell me, man, it's...
Well,
My mom will call me, can you
what-
believe it's 108? And I'm like, I don't know. It's not...
what screws me up about it is when we get off the phone and we're like, hey, let's go for a walk. And then we walk outside for 5 minutes and we're just like, we want to die.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's oppressively terrible. Two people working
Can you
outdoors.
podcast from like Colorado and stuff?
I think you can.
Interesting.
I think you can. 2 people who were working outdoors, other 2 were inside working without air conditioning. But the main reason I wanted to do this story for you was the next line here in this Fox 4 News item. MedStar says that those are the 2 main categories of calls they respond to, meaning people who are working outside or people who are working inside without air conditioning. But MedStar sticks out in my mind because my stepdad used to be a cop, and he called them Dead Star.
Okay.
And
That's
that
what he'd deal with?
Well, I believe
Or they-
there was a notion within the police department that they were quite slow.
We'll get to you.
And I don't know. I've just always loved cop humor. Like, yeah, calling Dead Star, it's probably going to be too late.
Yeah. I mean, that's cop/dad humor.
Yeah, of course. Which
I suppose most
mo-
cops are
most
probably
one
in
of the same.
the
Yeah.
dad area, the dad age.
Okay, I'll do another quick one for you here. A jailer in Ellis County has been arrested and fired. You want to guess what for? It's got to only be one of 2 things, right?
Posting something on
Ooh, maybe it
social
would be 3
media.
things. I was going to say it seems like these stories are usually they were sexing the inmates
Okay.
or they were bringing stuff in. In this
Okay.
case, it was the latter, bringing stuff in. Which,
Contraband?
have you seen? Yeah, that's actually how they define it. Have you seen any of the Twitter or, I don't know, maybe TikTok that ends up on Twitter of dudes who post videos from inside their jail cell and they have like Outback delivered? They've got like a bloomin' onion and like a TV and like a Nintendo 64 and just like it just looks, I don't know. Once upon a time, you and I had investigated whether or not we could go visit a jail. I suppose now we could do that. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
We talked to a guy, and we were like, we just want to kind of come see what it looks like on the inside, which is terrifying to me because it's been the main nightmare I've had my whole life, being in jail. But I've always just wanted to kind of like, don't you just want to see the inside?
I think what would be really uncomfortable is seeing any people in there, and it's like I'm at the zoo looking at,
Yeah. Yeah.
hey, you're caged up. Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
You look scary. Good thing you can't get to me.
It would that every single element of it would be uncomfortable.
And then I'd have that little bag of kibble, and I'd be throwing them a little
They give you a
little something to eat.
chopped up carrots.
Yeah.
You throw it in there like a primate enclosure.
I know I would be very uncomfortable with that, so I'd rather, yes. I'll just watch it on TV. That would be, yeah. Wasn't there a thing where somebody like slept in a jail? Or they've let reporters do that or something? And
You may be yet again conflating multiple stories. There was certainly Mitch Albom. Is it Mitch Albom?
I don't know.
The homeless thing
Oh, yeah.
in Detroit.
Okay, that's not the one where somebody was homeless for a day, and that doesn't really count.
That's kind of what it was.
I thought he
think.
did it for like a week or something.
It might have been a week, but it wasn't like, I mean, I think he was fine, you know. But it is weird if you think about like prison and the contraband element of it. Like that's obviously just going on all the time.
Could you sleep for a night in the prison?
I'm probably going to have to ask the question you always ask.
No, you're not going to get raped.
Okay. Because even though like 10 minutes ago I said I was up for anything with anyone all the time, I might draw the line right there. Yeah.
No, you're locked in. You know you'll be safe, but you're just in a prison. Think you get a good sleep?
It's probably not a good sleep, but did you ever hear
Do you
of
think
this?
they let you use your app?
Probably not. Did you ever hear have friends whose dads got DUIs and they would have to like go for the weekend?
Yeah.
Like they would have to go stay in jail from like Friday to Sunday. Like I knew a guy, a good friend of mine, whose dad had to do that, and I'm like, but then he would just like be at baseball practice on Tuesday.
No, that sucks, but prison is different too.
Yeah, that's like a county lockup situation.
Like you
I would
actually might
imagine,
hear
yeah.
somebody being raped.
Right.
Could you spend one night sleeping in a coffin?
I would give me prison. In fact, give me rape. Yeah, no, that ain't happening.
Not closed.
Yeah, but at any
It's all
moment,
silky.
don't try to upsell me on the coffin comforts.
The full package coffin.
No, I don't think so. Because that's a sort of Damocles thing where at any moment I'm worried about that thing dropping down on me, and I have a serious claustrophobia situation.
You said so, yet you head to that airplane bathroom and go right in there every time. So
Yeah, I mean, for a brief moment, and the thing is, I'm still in control there. In the coffin, you fall asleep, gust of wind, AC turns on, thing closes, it's locked. We did the story just a few months ago about the lady who got buried in one while she was alive.
I'm
Popped out
skeptical
at
of
her
that
funeral.
story. Skeptical.
Okay. Is there a story you're not skeptical of?
Well, it was from like
okay, here he
somewhere
goes.
down there.
Yeah, it was not America, so Dan doesn't believe it.
So they don't embalm people; they just throw them right in a coffin. That's how you do it down there.
Maybe. I feel like you're making your point for you.
Yeah. Just
Like
saying.
if they do it different, then
Keep your eyes open.
stay woke. Remember like 10 years ago when that meant something different?
Did it?
Or do you not remember that?
No, I don't know anything.
That's okay.
I can't follow everything.
A hot air balloon landed on 75 in McKinney.
Haven't we talked about going in a hot air balloon?
That's the reason I'm doing the story.
75 in McKinney. In McKinney.
In McKinney, yeah. It's
Okay,
like El Dorado
McKinney.
Parkway. Near there.
Don't they do that thing up there? Like a big balloon fest?
They used to do it in Plano for sure. I'm not sure if they still do that or not.
Like in the middle of the road or on the side? Or
It landed on the highway.
wow, I think
Yeah.
they could have directed that a little better.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the hugest hot air balloon in this image I'm looking at, but it just got me thinking, like, what would be the funniest thing? You gotta do something.
No, we're good.
What would be the funniest thing that at this point in your life, like midlife crisis wise, you could get into? Like, I'll list a few out for you. I was thinking, if you told me you were really into scuba now, you're like, hey, I just love skydiving now, or I love hot air balloons now. Obviously, like the normal one is like CrossFit.
I've wanted to scuba.
Me too.
Yeah.
Again, the claustrophobia thing, a little bit worrisome, but I would like to try it.
I feel like I have more control scuba-ing than skydiving. Like less chance to die.
I think that's right.
I don't know that I'd want to go down far enough where I'd get the bends.
Yeah. I don't even know what that is, and I don't think you do either.
No, it has something to do with oxygen in blood.
Did I ever tell you about scuba diving at the Blue Hole near Belize? Where I just went snorkel and everyone else did scuba. It's like this massive sinkhole. I'm sure you've seen photos of it. We just sort of snorkeled around the edges of it, but everyone else there was doing scuba. And so, like, on one side, it's maybe 15, 20 feet deep of water. And directly to the inside, the interior of the hole, it's like hundreds of feet deep. So they would have to use a floodlight. And as soon as they started to descend, they would turn on the floodlight, and it was just hammerheads everywhere.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. But I felt like a little cuck boy, being like, I'm going to come back up here and snorkel. I have always wanted to try it, but I don't know. I think you have a real opportunity right now to engage in some level of midlife crisis activity. And I want you to consider that.
Just because we are
Yeah.
untethered at the moment with
Yeah, you got a little bit of
with
time.
job.
Yeah.
All right. I do want to take a quick pause. We can, since we can edit this, we could just drop in a piece of audio or something for a break.
Okay.
I was going to try and get you an ender because I was thinking of Blue Hole. I had a Smurfette joke working in my head, but could not land on anything.
Okay. That's just the process.
So let us pause, and we'll be back in very, very short order.
All right.
All right, you want to hear a horrible one? The guy goes to the doctor. Doctor examines him. He says, well, my friend, you got a case of VD. The guy says, well, doc, I must have caught it from a toilet seat. The doctor says, well, then you were chewing on it. You got it in your gums.
Zack Martin's not on the plane. Got a cowboy article coming out.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right, I guess we've already started.
Yeah, whatever.
I will edit that together and put a little music behind it. That's just how we are, folks. We
Free and easy,
we
brother.
just talk the way we talk. I do want to, I guess our thing is let's kind of do what we do and see how it morphs from that, because it's a different medium and there aren't break times and things like that. So again, everybody, you're along for the ride. So in one of our recorded things, I did tell you, will you check the Powerball numbers?
Yeah, sure.
So this is for a future broadcast that we already have recorded.
Mm-hmm.
But, I was telling you the other day, and others won't hear it for a week or something, that my new bit is I'm going to play the Powerball right after someone wins it, because then I'll have a really good chance to win it. Because I'll be the only one playing.
Yeah. It's free money.
This
Dan.
So I probably won this, but I didn't check it Saturday night. And if it's not $700 million, they don't put it on the news right away.
Yeah.
They don't say, "Hey, the winning Powerball number was in California," which the last one was.
Well, nobody won on Saturday.
Oh, does it say that?
Yeah. Although it does say there were still plenty of people who won smaller prize amounts throughout Ohio. So perhaps.
We're not in Ohio, are we?
Yeah, but I mean, I could see a situation where Rose plays the Powerball.
Absolutely. Rose, my mom's friend,
That would check out to me.
who just turned 80 or 81. Guess what they're stoked on right now?
I haven't really been. It's
Pretty obvious.
Oppenheimer? Barbie.
Back up a week or two.
What is the action movie that's out right now?
Bro,
I haven't been keeping up, man. I feel like everything's been
Bro.
Barbieheimer.
Cruise.
Oh, okay. A new
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, okay.
My mom's sending me links about how he did his own stunts and
Yeah.
this and that. I'm like, I am not as into Tom Cruise as you are. And quite frankly, it's a little unsettling that two 80-year-olds are.
I don't think it's unsettling at all. I think it's awesome.
Well, my mom's not 80, but yeah.
My wife went to go see the Barbie movie and came home with a lot of ideas about the patriarchy. So if you're hearing this and your wife hasn't seen it yet,
That woke bullshit, I'm not
just
watching that.
know it's filling them with ideas.
Is that movie grooming her?
Yeah, it felt like it.
Um,
Get a lot of comments.
my kids were going to go see Barbie, but said it was sold out everywhere all the time.
Dude, I don't remember there being a thing like these two movies coming out at the same time. Like this much talk and sold out, and you got to drive around town to find a theater. I don't remember this happening, like, ever.
No, I think I read that this is like the fourth time ever that two movies opened with this level of whatever it was, 80 million a weekend or 80 million on their opening night. I don't know. It's big, and I think the top two were two different Jurassic Worlds combined with something else.
Yeah. Okay.
I know you're fired up about Jurassic World. Are you not?
Well, I am. In hindsight, I really only liked the first movie.
So what's the Zack Martin bit?
He is holding out.
So he signed a long-term deal, a 6-year deal a while back to become the highest paid
Guard, for sure.
guard in the NFL. He has since been an all-pro each and every year. And so, yes, 6 years or a few years later, you're now, you know how those contracts move around. And that's the only way. Yeah, I don't know how. No, I'm not thinking about our contract
Okay.
at all. I'm actually thinking about, what did I see here? I could play this for you. Let's see. This is Austin Rivers talking about Dame Lillard. I don't know if you saw this, but Dame Lillard's trade demand.
Yeah.
You know?
Regardless of how good of a player you are, man, the NBA is not. It's a privilege, and if you were a free agent, then you could choose where you were going to go.
Right.
That's the business.
Yeah.
But when you're not and you sign a deal, man, that's part of the business, bro. If you get traded somewhere, like, you got to go play, man. You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
and this started with like James and Ben and all these guys doing this shit. It's bad for the league. This is why our CBA deal that we just signed, and I don't even want to get heavy into that.
Okay, wait. I would like to defend LeBron James if this is going to shock you.
We need an open for that.
LeBron James has never demanded whatever. Every move he's made has been at the end of a contract.
He didn't. He meant James Harden.
Oh, I thought he meant
No.
LeBron. Okay, I guess nobody calls LeBron James.
Yeah, and let me tell you. Let me tell you something else.
All right.
There is not a. I mean, maybe there are a couple, but Austin Rivers is not about to put LeBron effing James's name in his mouth. That ain't happening. James Harden, you can kind of take shots at, whatever.
Okay,
Everyone thinks he's a
yeah,
weirdo.
yeah. My bad.
You are not about to invoke.
Right. LeBron is
He's why you have a job.
kind of Tiger.
Yeah.
He elevated everyone's bit. And
Mm-hmm.
even that it's now become, again, so now he's saying, okay, if he's talking about James Harden or
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons,
Yeah.
I'm sure he would be referring to KD or Kyrie. You know, KD especially just signed a 5-year deal and then wants out right away. And they facilitated that. They actually adhered to all his wishes. Yeah, LeBron has signed. I mean, LeBron, what he did now is looked at as quaint, kind of like a Clinton getting a blowjob, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's the problem? Okay. A guy who waited till the end of his free agent contract or, his second contract and then made a decision to move on, that sounds like I think most NBA owners would love to go back to that simpler time
Yeah, for sure.
where that was viewed as the worst thing you could ever do. Because, yes, I am pro-labor and pro-player in just about everything. The NFL one is a tricky thing. Just because they aren't guaranteed contracts, they will cut you. But, of course, you signed that contract, too, where you knew the game. And you are taking long-term security, kind of, a certain amount of guaranteed money. I guess that's what it's all about, right? The upfront guaranteed money.
Yeah, and in Zack Martin's case, it was 40, which is a lot. 40 million, guaranteed. G money, as they say.
Well, again, and
It's
as we're
just
finding out, you could be making a certain amount when somebody will say, "Hey, that's a good amount," but then the NFL and the Cowboys are making whatever, and they want a certain percentage of that, and he is killing it as far as he's been at the very, very top of his position ranking.
Yeah, I mean,
Since he signed.
I can see both sides of it. I think what he's doing is a leverage play. I don't think there's any scenario where Zack Martin, if the Cowboys are like, well, we're just not going to do this, he's not going to just sit out a year, It's just him exerting what little bit of leverage he has. He's about to be 33 years old. He's a guard. He probably can't play for – I'm kind of surprised he's at the level he's at now at this age. So he's probably only got a few years left, and he's saying – what if I try this? Because I can see that you guys found some money.
And if they say
over
no,
the last
though, he just goes
handful of
back.
months. Yeah, I think so.
And here's the problem, too, with being a good guy. They don't expect, Dez,
Yeah.
they might have expected some big waves. If they forced him to go back and he has to play under the franchise tag and now he's, outwardly acting,
basically the way that he did when they cut him.
Yeah,
Where
but
he's
screwing things
tweeting
up
out,
in practice, speaking to the media about
Yeah.
it. He's unhappy all the time, and
Yeah.
not like DeMarcus Lawrence, how he signed his franchise tag and was like, man, this is great. All that in 1 year. Of course, he changed his tune after about a year of that, right? He didn't want to
Yeah,
be
year
signed
two.
to another
Didn't
one.
want to get a surgery done, that whole deal. Speaking of Dez, just feel for him on this whole Twitter news,
The X, I saw him. Is that real?
I mean,
Are they becoming X?
if you go to it now, it says X.
Oh, really?
X up in the top left corner, yeah. But the funniest part about it is
It's weird.
Microsoft owns, again, as almost every story we talk about here in some way feels like we have a lens to it. Microsoft owns the copyright for calling a platform X, and they apparently just didn't check before they changed it.
So what's happening now?
My assumption is quite a bit of litigation.
You want to talk Jason Aldean?
I do.
That's another.
Let's do that and shut her down.
Yeah, this is obviously a big story.
It's a song called "Try That in a Small Town," and the video has people charged up. I think it actually came out like a month and a half ago, so I'm not totally sure why this popped the way that it did right now, other than possibly people on TikTok figured out that many of the scenes that are in the video are not from even American protests. So it's supposed to kind of be like a, hey, you want protest? Why don't you try that in a small town? Why don't you try that where I live? Except some of the protests are from Canada and Ukraine, and I think that is kind of why it popped up. And also the fact that Trump applauded him for it.
For this song?
Yeah.
How often do these things happen? Do you think getting carjacked? Old ladies getting carjacked.
At a red light specifically, yeah.
Sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk. That just seems like I have never seen it. And I know you can't just live in the world you live in and say that's never happening. You know, people are starving, and I don't really see that every day. Except I'm pretty hungry right now.
Yeah, I'm grab me a little Sammy on the way home from here.
Pulling the gun on an owner of a liquor store, I suppose that might be a little more common, but I suppose also that's going to be met with some resistance no matter where you did that. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face. That seems fairly rare as well.
Yeah, and based on media reports, I would say that as rare as it is, when it happens in big towns, it goes very poorly for the people who do it.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, man.
This population's so big.
Stomp on the flag, light it up. Now, besides the locker room of the Seattle Seahawks, I don't see that happening anywhere.
No, it's an isolated incident.
What's the discourse here?
So CMT, the Country Music Television Network, they pulled the video. And I think part of that is not just the TikTok response. I think part of it is that, and I don't know why this is only coming out now, but people pointed out that he had filmed it in front of a county courthouse in Columbia, Tennessee, where there was a lynching almost 100 years ago.
Okay.
My guess would be that if you filmed a video in front of any county courthouse
In Tennessee?
or in a whole host of states,
Yeah.
that you probably can run into a little bit of history that involves lynching.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the other part of it, too, obviously, of course, Trump weighing in did not do anything but stoke the flames, is that Jason Aldean was performing in Las Vegas when Stephen Paddock shot 500 people.
I've recently seen people sharing a video of him running off the stage right away and criticizing him for not, hey, you could have told people to get down or something, and you just...
Which I think is kind of BS.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know about that being a
but
valid
it
criticism.
is, I don't know, it's an interesting angle to it, right? That this guy who was there when hundreds of people, the largest mass shooting in American history occurred, is now basically invoking reactive violence. Like, okay, well, why don't you put some in your song? It's like, get mad at the IRS. Like, okay, well, that guy did that. And then he shot 500 people at your concert. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Feels like it's best if people just don't hurt each other. The thing that I find to be the most annoying about his response to it is, and I think this people do this all the time, and it upsets me. He got the exact response he intended when he authored this. Like, you wrote a song, the message of which is very clearly, we will harm you if you try any of these things. And then people are like, it seems like you're saying you'd harm them if they tried any of these things. And he's like, hey, whoa. You guys are reading a little. I don't want violence. Like, that bothers me. Like, he wrote a song to get this exact response.
Yeah.
And then got the exact response and then acted incensed about it and, blame censorship and the liberal media. Or I just wish people sometimes would say, yeah, that's what I meant. It's exactly what I meant. That's why I said it. I'm going to stick with it.
How? What's the reaction if he does that, though?
No, I mean, we're probably not talking about it, It's really kind of similar to this.
You don't think so? If he comes out and it's like, yeah, you'll probably get shot if you try that in a small town. And that's what I think should happen. I feel like either way, he knew this was going to...
Yeah, maybe you're right, but I just
and
wish...
use the exact same music as his other song called...
I do wish
I hate the small town.
When people do things that are clearly set up to elicit a certain response, that when they get that response, they would just stick with it. This happens with politicians all the time. And it does kind of make me think of...
That's why you love Trump, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's
he
exactly
sticks with
right.
it.
He's like, no, that's what I no.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
does not flip flop off it. He
Yeah, I mean they
You're like,
used
yeah.
they used to just
they're good
for
people.
millions of years let you finger someone if you were a star.
Yeah, I'm just
I mean,
saying.
it's-
I'm just telling you that's how it is.
yeah.
I don't want it to be like that. Like, how many you didn't pay any taxes last year? Well, yeah, it's these shitty laws that have been
Not
passed.
some dummy.
It's not my fault. I'm smart.
The other thing the Jason Aldean thing made me think of is when I got banned from Twitter, which was Randy Rogers related. Do you remember this? Do you hear about this, Kev? Do you see
It had
this?
something to do with violence.
Yeah. So it was Steph made a joke, like saying maybe Kyrie has some good points. This is like when the flat Earth thing was super hot, not the anti-Semitic stuff. So this is 4 or 5 years ago, whatever. So Randy Rogers tweeted, "Why don't you come down here and say that to my neighbor's face? He's an astronaut." Which to me, the obvious implication of which is he would be mad enough to hit you or hurt you. You know what I mean? Like, that's what that means. And so that's when I just quote tweeted it with, because if he doesn't like it, he'll kill you.
Right. You were just following up on
Yeah, and that got me kicked off for like a week.
because of the word kill.
I think so, yeah.
That's back the old woke Twitter, though.
Yeah, I would have been fine now on X.
Yeah. Another thing I like about all these is let's look up everything. I'm against Jason Aldean, so I'm going to look up anything I can to smear the Jason Aldean name. Oh, looky here. In 2015, he had a Halloween costume.
Oh, yes. Very rarely a respectful note when someone brings up your Halloween costume.
He dressed as Lil Wayne.
Oh, no. How
So he had a red
much-
bandana.
Okay, I think we're good there. Probably not, but
He also had a wig of braided hair.
we're getting closer to not so good.
You almost look like Lil Wayne. What could we do to add to this to really make you look?
No, are you serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
there's a photo. I'm looking at it, blackface.
Wow. Yeah, I did not know that.
And he's a public figure in 2015. And at that point you're like, okay. Whether I'm for or against the ability to do this, I'm pretty sure where the wind is blowing these days, but so you have to kind of give him a little something to that. He did offer an apology to anyone who found it disrespectful.
Love those.
And said it didn't have it did have zero malicious intent.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, the Prime Minister of Canada got away with it like 5 times. People don't seem to bring that up much. You ever seen Justin Trudeau's costumes?
You've referenced it many, many times. I can't tell you I get worked up about the Prime Minister of Canada doing anything. I don't care.
Well, I'm not worked up about it.
Is he still
Yeah.
the PM?
Yeah, he's still the PM.
Do you vote for that?
I think how it works is you elect members of parliament and then they vote. So it's kind of like a
Would you
proxy
be surprised
representation.
to know that Jason Aldean still wears a T-shirt with a Confederate flag on it on stage?
Given some information that I recently received, no, I would not be. I would not be at all.
Oh, okay, wait. I think... Oh, okay. This story says in 2015, several musicians who had previously used the symbol on their merchandise called it an emblem of Southern pride, but they changed their minds and removed them. I believe Aldean did not change his mind on that one.
Well, then I wish he would have stuck to his guns on this one and been like, yeah, no, I'm a racist.
Not necessarily I'm a racist. It's I'm a guy who wants you to...
Yeah, but the footage is very clearly, to me, in the video, like aimed at Black Lives Matter and the summer of 2020 or whatever that was. It felt to me as if we were taking aim at protesters, which most of the protests in this country for the last handful of years have been race-related. So I'm comfortable in my position.
You think that's just the last handful of years, or as far as race related, it feels like
Well,
any that I know from history seem to be.
well, war. That was the other one I was thinking of. It's just
Yeah.
that we did have a time where, you know,
Your Vietnam.
yeah, there was a, but I don't know. I wasn't around, you know. So I do think that in my lifetime, it's mostly been race, but there was some Iraq protest stuff.
Seems like those protests were also referred to then as just. What do you refer? If you're against it, you're referring to it as a riot.
Yeah, okay,
Would that be what they did with the Vietnam stuff? Probably.
yeah.
It's not like those were all turned out like everybody's just cool at the end. Like,
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, well,
all right.
thanks for your time.
Want to put something else out tomorrow and see?
I want to put something out every day. 1 for free and then 3. How'd you put it?
I don't know.
That was good. I was proud of you.
I think we should have more time to actually prep some more good content, or at least mediocre content. We've been talking to effing lawyers and teammates, and anyway, we do have 2 hours in the can of us really talking about all of that. So I'll just save it.
Yeah, and I think we both probably sound pretty busted up during those, and I don't anticipate that being the direction that we go going forward.
But you never know. Jake will cry on you. And with that,
We'll see ya.